Lately I've been trying a different style of production where I focus less on the loop and more on the song. I call it the train method, or the snake method. I don't really have a good name for it. So what is this method and how does it work? You make one loop or one musical idea, and when you start working on the next idea, you use one or more elements from the previous section as a jumping off point. This simplifies the song making process a lot, because instead of thinking, oh, I need to make a whole new arrangement, that's too hard, you're using existing sounds or elements and simply making variations. This is something that you've probably seen other producers do automatically when making beats. They add a bunch of melodies and drums in one pattern, and when they arrange the beat, they take out some elements and bring them back in at different points throughout the beat. Basically, this method works the same way, except we're being more deliberate and meticulous about it. I call it the train method because I picture a train that has multiple wagons, each one carrying something different, but they're all linked up with a connector of some sort. Similarly, each section of the song is different, but there are elements that remain the same in each section. With plugins and effects, you can practically make endless variations of just one idea. I'll quickly show you the song I made a few days ago using this method, and then I'll make a new song with this method. I was actually really close to ditching this project when I started because I wasn't a big fan of this first section that I made. This was the initial idea and I didn't want to ruin it, quote unquote, with the next idea. But even if they wouldn't sound good together, I still wanted to focus on developing the skill of making a full song instead of just one loop. So I just completely reduced my expectations to zero and created this other section here. It's a totally different feeling because I used a different piano preset for this section, and also I did a different drum bounce, but I kept all the drum sounds the same, and I also kept the same chill, like almost ambient vibe of the melody. So even though both of these sections sound pretty different, I still think that they make sense together, especially in this last part where I bring back in the drums and the piano from the first section while keeping the lead from the second section. So after hearing this first section, you kind of go into a more intimate, I guess, section, and that kind of develops over time. And then you go back to the first section, but this time it's more energetic because there are more elements at play. Overall, I actually ended up creating something which I think is pretty good. I mean, it's nothing special or like super interesting, but at least it exists, and that's more than I can say about all my other unfinished projects. So let's actually make a song using this method. I started by creating this plucky lead melody, followed by this harp counter melody. Then I added a thick bass sound and another lead on top. After laying out the melody, I consolidated it and chopped it up for the next section. Because of how I chopped up the sample, the notes now hit at a different time, which makes it sound like it's halftime. The melody now followed a different progression, so I used the same bass sound from earlier and changed it up to match this new progression. With just 4 layers, I've created a whole new section that, while using all the same sounds, still feels distinct from the first section because it follows a different chord progression and rhythm. I then made a variation of the lead using the original pattern as a starting point. I tried reusing the harp preset to create another counter melody, but ended up switching it out for a different preset, which I think fits better. Then I created a third section where I slightly changed up how the sample sounded and brought back the original pluck melody, this time chopping it up so that it matched the rhythm of the sample. And Then after that, I brought back the original 4-layer loop, but added a few extra notes in the plucked melody for some slight variation. At this point, I pretty much had the full track laid out, at least the melody of it. But to be honest, I didn't really like it. I actually think that this is a pretty good example of showing the method because I really do not see where to take this. Like I'm struggling to see it through the end, which means that I probably should because I feel like I have the general layout of the melody there, but I really don't like the idea. So I don't just want to ditch this. I want to see how I can transform it in a way that'll actually make finishing the project easier for me. So I think I'll just consolidate the whole melody and then try to do some chops and see if I can maybe figure out something. I felt demotivated because I had just spent a long time working on this melody, only to scrap it. But nevertheless, I pushed through, sampling the entire melody in slice X and looking for chops to inspire me. After pitching around the sample, I eventually landed on this. I once again reused the original bass sound, this time pitching it up so it sounded more like a pad. With samples it's easy to make variations because all you need to do is look for the different chops, so I made a variation of the first section with different chops while keeping the rhythm mostly the same. At last, I felt like I could actually add some drums to this. I didn't want to go too crazy with the drums because the melody was already quite busy, so I just did a basic drum bounce. After adding the 808, the beat was finally coming together. I then made a new drum bounce for the other section using all the same drum sounds. Afterwards I changed up the 808 to follow the progression of the melody. I actually pitched the whole sample down like one semitone because I think it sounds better, and I also added a different 808 just to switch it up a little bit. But I also brought back in all of these sounds that I got from the previous arrangement, and I also pitched them down or up, I don't remember, and I chopped up the progression. I brought in all the layers and now it sounds like this, which I think sounds much better than what I had before. So now I have two like pretty cool ideas. I mean, they're very different and I don't know if I can incorporate both of them, but I want to finish this project up because I've struggled on it for a long time now. I decided to use the original melody as a bridge between the sample chops we currently have and the ending section. So the song would start with our current sample chops, then it would transition into the original melody for the bridge, before transitioning back into the sample chops and the original melody playing at the same time. Keep in mind, at this point I've only made about 5 or 6 unique melodic layers. Every other section is just a variation of those few layers. Like a snake shedding its own skin or something, the original melody slithers its way through the track, morphing and changing its character at each new section. So after adding the finishing touches, some effects, transitions, and cleaning up the arrangement, this was the final result. when you're just starting out, I think the main thing is to get rid of as much expectations as you can on trying to make something grand, like something amazing right off the bat, because that's like never gonna happen usually. I think the main thing is to just keep grinding, keep practicing, and keep trying. I guess what I'm trying to say is that you should just do this a lot. Then over time, you'll build up the muscle of like laying out full songs instead of just focusing on one loop. Even if in the beginning these songs aren't that good, you're developing a whole new kind of approach. So it's gonna take time, naturally.